People are shocked after finding out that more than 2 million adults in the UK cannot afford to eat due to the cost of living crisis.
What the hell is going on?
Fuming isn't the word, I'm smiling, but inside I'm dying.
Due to the cost of living and things like that nowadays, a lot of people that you wouldn't think are struggling are really, really struggling.
You've now got to remortgage your house to get a Chinese or an Indian.
You won't believe what you would have been paying in 2023 versus 2025.
Anybody who tells you the cost of living crisis is over and that food inflation prices are coming down are off their heads.
Sorry, excuse me. £7 meal deal.
Now you might think, oh, it's only £2 more. That's more than double. Double. So you're spending double. But has our wages gone up by double? Richie, what have you done?
Poor people can't afford good food.
It's not true.
They say inflation is down, but can people actually afford to eat? Grocery prices in the UK have soared over the past few years. And even though inflation rates are slowing, food costs remain painfully high. Essentials like bread, milk and vegetables have jumped in price, leaving families struggling to put meals on the table.
I just want to say that it's fucking wild that as a 2-income household, my husband and I have come to the realization we can't afford groceries right now. Like, just straight up can't afford groceries. Because if we buy groceries, then we either won't be able to pay our rent or our electric bill, because both of those come out of this pay cycle and they will take the entire pay cycle. That's fucking bonkers. That's so fucking wild. We have 2 incomes and we cannot afford to eat, and we don't even have kids. Like, it's literally just the 2 of us, and we can't afford to eat with 2 incomes. That is just... But I mean, I guess, you know, that means we won't have to wash dishes because our dishwasher is still broken, as it has been for 2 months at the place that we pay so much in rent, you know? Wild.
The first time I came to the UK last year in September, the meal deals were £3. And then I came back at the end of the year and it was like £3.40. Now they're £5 each. What? That inflation is crazy. What the hell?
Due to the cost of living and things like that nowadays, a lot of people that you wouldn't think are struggling are really, really struggling. A lot of people in full-time work. There's people I know that have 2 jobs and they still find it hard. So in that sense, you can imagine how many children would suffer and have to go to school in the morning without having something to eat, through no fault of their own and through no fault of their parents either. So for that, in that respect, a lot of the primary schools that we deal with and go to see, I really, 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 really admire that work. Being a father myself, I would hate to be in the position. I would hate to have my son in that position, and that position could be a stone throw away for all of us. So, as I said, this job has really humbled me.
What is going on with the world? These were 99p. And all of you on my last food shop haul mentioned they were 150, which is a 50% markup, and now they're 169. Aldi are robbing us blind. I had to come on. If you know, you know, you know. Only you guys will understand. Fuming isn't the word, I'm smiling, but inside I'm dying.
What the hell is going on? Fish and chips is meant to be the cheap takeaway. You've now got to remortgage your house to get a Chinese or an Indian. It's a joke that's just not even funny. It's absolutely shocking. 16 quid for fish and chips. 16 quid for fish and chips, and that was meant to be the cheap one. It cost you about 50 quid to get a Chinese. That's an actual joke. That's an actual joke. 15 quid for fish and chips. Cost about 50 quid to get a Chinese of your standard stuff. We're not talking about any specials here, anything extra, anything extravagant. We're not going for a buffet. We're talking about a normal Chinese. Like, we are literally paying American prices, but we get terrible wages. We don't have the American money, but we're paying the exact same prices they pay in America. This is a joke. This is a serious problem.
Sorry, excuse me. £7 meal deal. Really? £7? This country is cooked.
People are shocked after finding out that more than 2 million adults in the UK cannot afford to eat due to the cost of living crisis. Check this out. A recent study commissioned by the Mental Health Foundation found that more than 52% of people in the UK were worried about being able to afford food from the supermarket. This also comes at a time where a couple in Devon were reported to not eat for up to 3 days at a time to ensure that their kids can actually eat. I just don't understand how people are living like this in 2025. The UK government definitely have a lot to answer for, because the Mental Health Foundation even conducted a study. The same study found that 65% of people in the UK were anxious or stressed about being able to pay for just general household bills. It's also estimated that 1 in 7 adults in the UK, meaning 7.3 million people in the UK, are actually food insecure, meaning that they have anxiety or stress about being able to pay for food. This is definitely not right. I feel like every time you go into your local Asda, Sainsbury's, Morrison's or Tesco, it's getting so expensive just for the basic necessities, and I don't know how people are living. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments in this one, and if you know any charities or anything, please let people know in the comments so people can help each other during this cost of living crisis, because this is really not right.
Cost of the UK living crisis is mental.
Look at the mini rolls. $3.95 for 10. Fucking hell, look, jam tarts, Mr. Kipling. 6. £3. Oh my God, look at Mr. Kipling chocolate thing. $3.95. They used to be bloody £1.50. God, this world is crazy.
Is it just me, or are food shops getting more and more expensive? You pop into your local Tesco for a quick bite to eat, expect to spend about £10 or £20. You leave, they've taken about 200 quid off you and the clothes off your back. I'm sorry, but even with the club card, these prices are absolutely extortionate. The cost of living crisis has got everybody in a chokehold. So many people in the UK cannot afford food, and it is definitely getting way too much now. The markups of these supermarkets is insane, because the amount of products that they buy, and they buy it for so cheap, they are marking up the prices so high. I saw a statistic the other day, and it's 44% of people in the UK are scared to go food shopping because they don't want to buy anything, because they don't know if they can actually afford it. How are we living in the UK in 2025 where people cannot afford food? This is a joke. Don't even get me started on olive oil, because you're looking at about £10 a bottle for olive oil now, and it is absolutely insane. So many products of items are going so expensive, and people just cannot afford it. It is wild. But it's not just Tesco, it's Sainsbury's, Asda, Lidl, Morrison's, you name it, it is all pricey. To be honest, Aldi and Lidl are probably the slightly cheaper sides, but even that is definitely gone up in price since even 2022. Look at the prices of 2022 compared to now. It is extortionate. Even the meal deal is about a £5 these days.
I love KFC popcorn chicken for reasons, but broski, why is this so expensive? Because bro, I generally have to spare an arm and a toe just to afford a little bit of it. Because why is it $5.99 for a regular and almost £8? £8 pretty much for a large. And it's not even like you get that much, you just get a little bit. And the thing is, KFC is considered to be cheap. Yes, you heard that right, cheap. But nothing on that menu is cheap and worth your value. However, on a good day, you know, it can hit and it can be good. But that's very rare these days. So please, everyone tag KFC right now. We need to get their attention and we need to bring the price down. Because a regular popcorn chicken, in my eyes, should cost you £3. It's a good bit of quality food, but it's not meant to be £5.99. And for a large, I would pay maybe at max £5. And that's on a happy day. So KFC, change the prices, but also keep the food the same, because this here is just lame. But let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of this? Do you like popcorn chicken or do you not? And hit that follow button, please.
East London, that's a wrap. £3.50 for 4 wings and chips. Students only as well. This isn't for the general population. I used to be able to buy 4 wings and chips, I swear to God. No student prices, no discounted, regular 4 wings and chips, good portion, £1.50. I swear to God. It was a few years ago. Now you might think, oh, it's only £2 more. That's more than double. Double. So you're spending double. But as our wages gone up by double. Richie, what have you done? Economics, we call this an inferior good. It is a poor man's meal, yeah? And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. I lived off chicken and chips when I was younger. Every day after school, I was getting chicken and chips. I remember, year 6, year 7 times, what's that, 2016, 2017? It was 4 wings and chips for £1.50. Few years went by, it was 3 wings and chips for £1.50. Now you can't even get chips for £1.50. No protein, just straight potato. £3.50 for a little cheeseburger. I promise you, that is the worst frozen cheeseburger you'll eat with fries for £3.50. Students only as well, like it's some discount.
Why are Brits so miserable? Did you know that the UK is voted the second most miserable country out of 71 countries? I'll tell you the reason as to why Brits are so miserable, babe. No, it's not the Tommy and Molly May breakup. No, it's not the weather. It's the increase in price of meal deals, babe. This has shook me to my core. Because 5 years ago, you were paying £3 for a meal deal. Tell me why a sandwich, a packet of crisps and a drink now is going to cost £3.60. And that's if you've got a club card, babe. That's if you're a dedicated member to the Tesco Club. No, you have to pay £3.60 for a sandwich, a packet of crisps and a drink. Are you serious? Truly more earth-shattering than the Tommy and Molly May breakup at this point. Like, it's genuinely making me lose sleep. This is why Brits are depressed. We were voted the second most miserable country, and this is exactly why. The sheer increase in meal deal prices, it's sending me over the edge. Sick of it, Tesco. Sort it out.
What has compared food prices from back when we were kids to what they are now, and it is actually shocking. But these things have like tripled in price. Basically, I've just seen this video from Lavish Absy, and just look at this. So first of all, we've got an original Coke. Back in 2002, it was £1.18. In 2025, it's £2.55. So in my entire lifetime, I was born in 2001, it's just doubled in price, basically. Over doubled in price. Red Bulls used to be 88p in 2002. Yeah, they're now £1.75. Again, over doubled it. That is actually mental. If you wanted 10 bird's-eye codfish fingers back in 2002, it was £1.48. Now it's £4. It's almost tripled in price. Kellogg's cornflakes in 2002, they were 98p for a box. Yeah, they're now £3.30 for a box. I don't even need to do the maths on that one. That is over 3 times more. Absolutely insane. Silver spoon sugar in 2007 was 79p. Now in 2025, it's £1.09. That's actually not that much considering the price of all the other ones. If you're gonna buy steak mince in 2007, it was £1.40. Now it's £3.79. Again, another one that's almost tripled in price. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments.
This is absolutely fucking mental. Like, what is the UK coming to? I don't eat cereal anymore, right? But good thing. £3.50, £4.20, £3.50, £4.15 for all these tiny little boxes of cereal. Fucking Cocoa Pops, £4.20. Never in my life would you see me paying that.
Right, can someone explain to me why things are getting so bloody expensive? Because for £80, this is what I've got. Like, it's not even a full shop. It's like a refill shop. And that was 80 quid. I mean, I think the most expensive thing there were the Diet Cokes, which was £7.50. But, and some chicken, £4. What the hell is going on with UK prices at the moment? How are families supposed to afford to feed their families when, I mean, that was 80 quid and it was a refill shop, and I couldn't even I could probably make about 4 meals out of that if I tried with creativity.
In the UK, isn't it disgusting that if you want to buy healthy food, if you want to buy healthy meals, lots of fruit and veg, you've got to be prepared to pay double for everything. Okay? You've got to be prepared to pay out the fucking arse for your weekly shopping. You could, however, go and get loads of shit from the freezer, loads of processed crap, and literally quarter your food shopping bill. Which is the easier option, and most people have to take that option due to the fact that the healthy stuff is so fucking expensive. And they encourage us to feed our kids healthy. They encourage us to, you know, eat lots of fruit and veg, 5 a day and all that. Well, some people can't fucking afford to, can they? Because the prices are going fucking higher and higher every fucking time you walk in a shop. And please believe me, I'm not knocking anyone that, you know, does buy and fill their freezer up with stuff for their kids. I'm not knocking you at all. This isn't what the video is about, because needs must in some people's lives. But I still think if the prices wasn't so high, more people would be open to making wholesome, healthy, home-cooked meals. But they can't fucking afford it because it's so fucking expensive. I mean, me personally, do you know what? I put the food shop before anything else. You know, my wages go, my husband pays bills, my wages go on food. So I'm going to buy what I want when I fucking want at the end of the day. Yes, if it leaves me skint, that's the way it is. I'm skint for the rest of the fucking week. So what? As long as my bills are paid and my fridge is filled, that's the most important thing to me, so that my kids can, you know, as always got something on hand. And again, I'm not knocking people that aren't in a position to do that. If anything, I'm supporting them people by saying if they made the fucking prices cheaper, life wouldn't be so difficult for some people out there.
Oh, I am livid. Anybody who tells you the cost of living crisis is over and that food inflation prices are coming down are off their heads. We're a family of 5 struggling on universal credit. We have a budget of only £550 a month to make the food shopping work for us. We've come out to do our weekly shop and the prices are beyond ridiculous. The usual cheese we get is called the Cornish Cruncher and it was £6.50 last month. It's now £7.50. The ready meals we usually get for Dulcie, May, Whitney and Levi were £4.50 last month. They're up to £5.50 now. Courtney loves her mezzalune pasta. It's gone up £1.20 to £7. We like to use the garlic and chilli olive oil. It's gone up 20% in a month to £10. We like to treat our 2 staffs, Fred and Rose, to a little soft cheese selection a couple of times a week. But the prices have gone up 10% in a month. We are getting ripped off left, right and centre.
You won't believe what you would have been paying in 2023 versus 2025 for these 5 major food items. Iceberg lettuce. In 2023, you would have been paying 70p for an iceberg lettuce versus 98p in 2025. That's a 40% increase in the price because extreme weather caused by climate change has disrupted harvests at home and abroad. The same for carrots. In 2023, a kilogram of carrots would have cost 62p. In 2025, you're paying 83p. That's a 33.87% rise in the price of carrots. The same for cucumber. In 2023, a cucumber would have cost 73p. In 2025, you're paying 93p. That's a 27.4% rise in the price of a cucumber. The same for peppers. In 2023, a kilogram of peppers would have cost 86p. In 2025, you're paying £1 and 3p. That's a 19.77% rise in the price of peppers. And the same for cauliflower. In 2023, a cauliflower would have cost £1 and 6p. In 2025, you're paying £1 26p. That's an 18.87% rise in the price of a cauliflower. Courgettes, onions, broccoli, tomatoes and mushrooms have also had significant price rises in the last 2 years. Extreme weather caused by climate change is driving these price rises. If we don't tackle climate change, will our food get even more expensive?
Guys, we are in a cost of living crisis. So today we are looking at the most overpriced foods and drinks. And I would like to start it off with Nando's peri salted chips or just normal chips or any of their sides really. Because if you want a regular, it's £4.25 and that's a small box, right? If you want a large, £7.25 for a large box of chips. £7.25. Are you serious? This isn't even a starter. This is a side. A side to your dish is £7.25. How much is the main? That's what I'm asking. How much is the main if the side is £7.25? That's not just your chips. That's everything. That's just tender stem broccoli. £7.25 for a large tender stem broccoli. What is going on? Next up, we have the Ice Blast from Cineworld. And they're about £5.85. That's about £6 for this, for a large version of this. And I remember going to Cineworld was a cheap day out. Imagine you go with your family and everyone wants an Ice Blast. That's like £30. That's ridiculous. There is really no such thing as a cheap day out these days, is there? Now we go to Five Guys, and you know what? The burgers are good value, even though they're extortionate. They're good value because they are high in value, right? The chips, the fries, they put like a bunch, they just dump them in the bag. Even if you don't like them, they dump them in the bag. So you get your value there. The milkshakes are about £6. For what? For what? Oh my God. The milkshakes, why are they £6? It doesn't make sense for a drink. Now the final thing is absolutely gorgeous. It's lovely, right? but they are £8.20. These bower buns from Wagamama's are £8.20. What is going on? That means they're about £4 each for a bower bun. Why? Why is it that much money? Guys, we're gonna have to do something like riot or whatever, because this can't keep happening. They can't keep getting away with this stuff.
If you live in the UK, I do not know how you are supposed to survive right now. I really don't. So I've just gone to Sainsbury's, right? And I know people are like, oh, you can go to Aldi. I've been in Aldi, and either the food goes off quicker, not all of it, but some of it, or it's the same price, because Sainsbury's are price matching Aldi at the moment. It's my place to go. I know where everything is. You know, it's not bargain basement, but I don't think anything is bargain basement now. And I refuse to eat shit. Like, I just refuse to, like, fill my freezer with shit that is bad for my kids. So, don't even get started in the comments on that. That's not the point. The point of this is, I've just gone and done a shop for me and my daughter for 3 days. That's it. Just to last us till the end of the bank holiday weekend. And all I have bought is dinners, breakfast cereal, and soup for lunch. So I haven't pushed the boat out. There's no snacks in there. All right, I needed some toothpaste and deodorant, right? But that's normal. That's what you need to live. You need to be able to brush your teeth, and you don't want to smell. Even with the discounts, Nectar discounts, all the rest of it, 3 days is 57 quid. And for somebody that wants to justify that, just don't even bother. Because not that long ago, there were 3 of us. And I used to shop for 3 of us. And I used to buy branded shit because he wouldn't eat the non-branded shit. And I would do a full week's shopping. I was on a protein diet, so I was buying lots of protein, tins of tuna, chicken, eggs, you name it, it went in the basket. And that would cost me 130 quid to feed 3 people for a week. And less than 3 years later, I can't even get through the absolute basics. People always ring at the most inappropriate time. I'm having a rant here. And that was nearly £60. Nearly £60. So if we math that out, that's 120 for 2 people, plus another day, and that doesn't include any of the other stuff that I used to buy, which was cleaning products, like laundry stuff, toiletries, like you name it, on like eye level shelf, because that's how they price things. If you don't know, go down the bottom if you want the cheap shit. It's on the floor. They don't want you to find it. What is going on? What is going on? How are we supposed to survive this? Our wages haven't gone up that way. Like, I just don't know how. I've got 1 kid, like 1. What if you've got 3 or 4 children? Like, what are you eating? Where are you shopping? Are you growing your own food? Like, what is going on? It is utter mad.
Poor people can't afford good food.
It's not true. I'm sorry, it's not true.
We have food deserts, and I can say for an absolute fact.
Poor people can't afford.
When you've been skint.
That video right there is absolutely. They're arguing, right, that poor people can't afford good food. I mean, if you've been to a supermarket, you will very well know it's very expensive to eat good whole foods. Maybe, like they said, carrots and kelp. Do you really want to be eating that? Can you really feel any sustenance, any satiation off of that? No, you cannot. Bottom line, you won't. You need foods like chicken, mince, salmon. These foods are going to be like sustainable, right? They're expensive, right? I've got notes here. 900,000 people in the UK do not have a fridge. 1.9 million do not have a cooker. 2.8 million do not have a freezer, and 7.2 million people in the UK are suffering with food poverty right now. That's 11% of the UK population. But these rich ones, or whatever, are trying to tell you that you can afford it. You're lazy. No, it's not the case. You can't send to anyone living in food poverty that this is their fault. You can't. It's a complete shambles. It's completely, not completely, but it's very, to a high degree, socio-economical, this state. And the fact that she has the absolute cheek to say it is their fault, sorry. It's out of order, right? And this should not be on English television, publicised, the entire UK population, basically shamming 11% of the UK, saying it's their fault. Nothing else, it's their fault that, you can't put food on the table for your kids. It's your fault. How dare you? It's awful. This should not be a thing. How is this just genuinely accepted? This is out of order. And nothing we can do about it. They're living their little posh lives. Go down Waitrose, yippee. But there you've got 7.2 million people living in food poverty, which they do not know where the next meal's come from. They've got to feed kids, family. But it's their fault. It's out of order. And how this is on UK television to the whole public, basically shamming 11% of this population and more. I mean, that's just food poverty. You've got other degrees of it. It's out of order. And how this is allowed is a disgrace.
So is eating healthy more expensive than eating junk food? Now, loads of studies are being carried out about this. But what tends to happen is these studies are carried out by people who will probably go to Waitrose or, something like that, and isn't your regular, normal family who wants to provide quality, edible food, healthy food for their family. But the cost of food in supermarkets is just so expensive. Now, this study has shown that healthy eating can be more expensive than eating less healthy foods. Now, studies in the UK have shown that a basket of healthy foods can cost more than double that of less healthy options, particularly for low-income families. The disparity is driven by factors like higher prices for fresh produce, the cost of refrigeration and transportation for perishable items, and the fact that healthier foods often require more labour-intensive production. Now, if you look at the cost of fruit and that at the moment, it is extremely expensive. Meat, such as chicken, your white fish is very, very expensive. On the other hand, you can go into Iceland and you can pick up a bag of chicken nuggets for £1. I don't know what's in the chicken nuggets. Probably is eye holes, ear holes and arseholes is in there. Sausages as well, they're £1 and you have no idea what's in them. But that's what families are turning to so they can eat, so they can feed their families, because cost of living is so expensive. Everybody, needs the government to step in with the supermarkets and the amount of money it's costing people for a weekly shop. You're talking on average of probably £150 more, depending on how many's in your family. And that's why obesity is the way it is. It's why, people's health isn't as good. Probably is why the cancer rate is up as well. But yeah, do you agree with this study? Have you tried shopping for healthy products and seen the cost of them? And like I say, the cost of supermarket food, absolutely scandalous. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments.
All right, America, you know the score. Welsh guy in America here, but I am currently back in Wales. So once again, I'm in Asda, Corridor, my favourite store ever, and I'm in the meat section. I just want to do a price comparison with you real quick. So I always do this, right? Let's just check a look at the prices for like British meat and compare it in dollars, and then think about what it is at your local store. All right, so every £1, for example, is $1.30 right now. And I know it's difficult to compare because you don't really have the same sort of sausages. So ignore the sausages for a second and come back to it in a minute, but you can keep watching, obviously. All right, so let's just take a look at like reduced fat pork sausages, for example, right? There's 8 of them in there, and it's 2 for £4, or they're £2.25 each. £2.25 is roughly $3 for a pack of sausages. And those aren't even like the expensive ones. They're like reduced fat. So let's take a look at another one. I had some of these yesterday. These are sort of the Welsh butcher version. Yeah, actually pretty good. They're Edwards, and you get, what, 10 traditional pork chipolatas in there. £3.25 or 2 for £5.50. So it's 1 for roughly 5 or 2 for like $7.50. Alright, so you probably don't care about British sausages, and you probably don't care about British bacon, which is superior to American bacon, might I add. But I know what you do care about. That is steak and beef. So I do a comparison every single time I'm home. So let's just take a look at this. All right, let's not go there. Let's go with something a little bit leaner. Here we go. All right. Lean beef steak mince. This is 500 grams, which is just over £1. Think about what you pay for that, because that right there is £3.50. That's good quality beef, and that's $4.55 for that, which, if memory serves me correct, is roughly half, depending on obviously where you shop in America. But for example, like, these prices are like stereotypical no matter where you shop. You don't have to shop around to get sort of those prices. That's sort of standard. Look, that's 95.5, right? So let's just say you don't use 95.5. Let's just say you go with, all right, so let's just say you're going to go with this, which is 88.12. I know that's an odd percentage, but, you know, less than 12% fat, 500 grams, over £1 once again, and it's only £3.30, which is $4.30, which is absolutely mental if you think about it, because I know exactly how much sort of meat costs in America, and it's usually double. And this is good quality meat as well. Right, so last but not least, let's just take a look at a sirloin steak, shall we? Okay, because I know how much people love their steaks in America. So this right here is one steak. It is 310 grams, which is sort of, what's that, about almost £1, not quite. £6.50, which is roughly $8.50. It's a bargain if you ask me. Follow for more.
They say inflation is down, but grocery prices tell a different story. Food costs remain painfully high, forcing millions in the UK to cut back, skip meals, or rely on food banks just to get by. Essentials like bread, milk and vegetables are still expensive, and for many, affording a full meal is becoming a daily struggle. Lower inflation doesn't mean lower prices. If people can't afford to eat, then the cost of living crisis isn't over. It's just wearing a different mask. Like, subscribe and hit that bell icon before they start charging extra for basic nutrition too.